All right, let me just pause my fucking audio here, and
Gotcha.
I'm good to go. All right.
Alright. Boom, second episode, Pongkikok podcast. It's me, your host, JP or Shu2K, whatever you want to call me. And with me is my good friend, very good friend, Slakks, or is it Keenan?
Keenan, yeah, Keenan
Yeah.
Flamond, yeah.
Yeah,
It's a little bit of a unique name, I would say, yeah. So
a very unique name. I never had anyone named Keen or Keenan, so you're the first, so.
yeah, and most people call me Keen too. So yeah, or just like Slacks. Obviously, no one really in the gaming realm of things. They don't really call you by your normal name. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah, how's it going?
Really?
How's it going?
Oh, nothing much, not bad. I just woke up like 4 hours ago. I couldn't sleep, so I just stayed up all morning. How about you, man? How are you? How's it been?
I'm good. Um, Same old stuff for me. Pretty much just doing gaming stuff, which we'll
Mhm.
get into in a little bit. But honestly, same old stuff for me. Gaming, esports, the usual stuff that we'll probably get into in the next little while.
Oh yeah, 100%, a hundred
Yeah.
percent. The only thing that I noticed right now, your background's amazing. It's like a shit ton
Oh,
of stuff, dude.
yeah, I got some cool I got a lot of like stuff when I went to Japan
Hmm.
from just like games, collectibles, shit like that. A lot of Legend of Zelda stuff, and then other sides like
Oh
just a
yeah.
bunch of weird Dota stuff. Yeah, I needed to spruce it up when I was streaming. I had just like a white background like most
Hmm.
of us do. So I was like, yeah, you know what, I'll spruce it up, buy some stuff from IKEA, make it look a little fancy, and there we are.
Not bad. I
Yeah.
really like the aesthetics behind. Get the video game.
Oh, yeah, that's the thing too. Like even like the color and everything, it makes it a little bit more exciting. I get people that come in like my chat or when I'm, competing in tournaments and like you have a cam on. People are like, oh wow, he actually has stuff. Because like I mean, as for me, Dota players, all their cams are like this,
Oh yeah,
or
hundred
like
percent.
this. And
Like
it's just
super
them. So
close.
it's like yeah, might as well show off a little bit. You know what I mean?
Not bad, not bad. Okay, I don't want to take too much of your time, so I'm gonna start right away with the
Sure.
questions.
Let's
Usually
go.
on my show, I don't go through like, oh, it's a very scripted like list of like questions. For you,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna make you pick which letter you want. So it's A, B, and C.
Okay. I'll pick C.
Right. Let's go with letter C, and the question is: besides esports, because we,
Okay.
we like esports, we're
Mm-hmm.
gamers.
For
There's
sure.
something that we have in common, and that's like
Mm.
card games. Like
Yes, for
Yu-Gi-Oh,
sure.
Hearthstone,
Yeah.
and I don't know if I consider you a closet fan of WWE. Do you
Yeah. Yeah.
do you consider yourself as a closet fan?
Okay, so I guess to start, like I've been a fan of like way back when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess you'd say middle school for people in terms of like grades. So like grade, you know, I was watching WWE when I was 4 or 5 years old. My
Mm.
parents were very like okay with it. That
Yeah.
they didn't really, I guess, care what I was watching at that time. My parents are also very young. They had me at a very young age. So I watched WWE when I was like 5. So this is like Raw is War era. It's
Oh yeah,
very
hundred
like
percent. Yeah.
hardcore stuff.
Yeah.
And ever since then, I kind of always liked it. So I mean, being younger, getting into games when I was really young, I was playing like Raw
Mm.
versus SmackDown like 2007,
Here come.
WrestleMania 2000 on my N64, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
Here comes the pain, whatnot.
yeah, all those like really classic games.
Oh yeah.
So I wouldn't really say I'm like a closet fan now per
Mm.
se. Like I've kind of uh like lost interest in it just because it wasn't the same for me
Oh yeah.
as the eras went on.
I get it. I get it.
Obviously
Yeah.
being more like TV friendly, more accommodating to younger demographics and such.
Mm.
But like I basically watched it from when I was 5 till I was about 14, 15. So I watched wrestling for a solid 10 years. So I was a big fan of like the more like hardcore era of WWE, WWF, whatever you want to call it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
With WWE, it's again as you said, it's like a little child friendly. There's like less blood. There's less
Hmm.
swearing and whatnot. There's
Yeah.
because back then it was like again as you said before, it was all out. It's whatever you wanted to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right now, there are like different companies, wrestling companies.
Hmm.
Like there's a wrestling company in Japan, and
Okay.
it's it's mostly like huge here in like North America and in Japan, and
Okay.
that's where they get their talents from. And I think there's like a small bit of in Europe as well.
Okay. Yeah, like I know there's like AEW and
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
like
yeah.
a couple like old WWF people
Mhm.
that run that show there as well. And there's a lot of like I guess for me, being a big like hockey person, there's like tiers. So there's like there's like an AHL, which is like a
Mm.
developmental league that can push people, I think, to like a higher league like the WWE or like the AEW and stuff like that, which I think is really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think like for me, big aspects of um, wrestling was the hardcore nature of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that's kind of why, like, as weird as that sounds, I think I'm just the person, like, I'm a big like horror guy. I'm a big like thriller
Oh yeah.
person where it's like I like
100%. I feel
those.
that. Yeah.
So when they kind of lost that edge, I think the edge was like, no pun intended, obviously,
Yeah.
Edge, one of the best fucking wrestlers of all time.
100. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, fellow Canadian.
Yeah, exactly. When that kind of fell off, I just kind of lost a lot of interest in it. I still would watch it occasionally, even now. Like sometimes I'll take a tune in or like watch some Twitter clips. But like
Mm.
for me now, wrestling is watching WWE like top 10 videos like on YouTube or like top 10 like most hardcore moments. Like that's all I basically watch. And sometimes I get in that niche where I'm just like I'm in the wrestling mood, and I'll just go look up like WrestleMania moments, like WrestleMania 10 and stuff like that. Like they have like the Royal Rumbles for free on YouTube as well. So
Yeah.
I actually watch those sometimes. But yeah, I don't really watch anything else like in terms of wrestling right now.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Uh, got any favorite wrestlers?
Ooh, favorite wrestlers.
Yeah.
I loved. Okay, so I'm trying to think of wrestlers right now. I'm trying to think of really good tag teams. I always really like tag
Oh,
team
yeah.
people.
Oh, okay. So you're
Like
one of
you
those like.
like Too Cool. Remember Too Cool? Like they're like really really old.
Is
That's
it is it one
like
with Rikishi and
yeah, and is it Scotty Too
Yeah,
Hottie?
Scotty Too Hottie, yeah.
Scotty Too Hottie, Rikishi, and I remember
I
the other
forget the third
guys.
one. There's a
The
third
third
one,
guy,
yeah.
but I really like them just because I think they were like funny. They put a good flair. But in
Oh yeah.
terms of like good wrestlers, um, I mean Rey Mysterio was iconic. I really liked Randy
100%
Orton
yes.
when he was like younger, like when he just started. I really
Mhm.
liked Randy Orton. Um, I liked a lot of guys from ECW too. I think just because of the hardcore nature.
Yeah.
So like Tommy Dreamer. I mean, he
Ooh,
wasn't really that
yeah.
popular in like WWE, but like in ECW, he was huge. I really like Tommy Dreamer. Um, I really like the Hardy
The
Boys.
Hardy Boys is sick.
3D. I really
They were
like
sick,
3D.
yeah.
They were cool. Like Bubba Ray Dudley, like the Dudley Boys. They were sick. I think those are probably like my favorite like tags. I don't really know if I had like a specific favorite.
Mhm.
It was more so like, yeah, like I said, like a lot of guys that did like the TLC matches, that sort of
Yeah.
stuff. So like even guys that were more predominant in the later stages, so like the Edges, like Christians and stuff, but then
Mhm.
they also had like the tag elements in like the early
Oh
2000s.
yeah,
By far
100%.
my favorite. By far my favorite.
Yeah. I love the Hardys and Bubba Ray and Edge and Christian. They basically uh made the tag team division the way they are right now. They made it like
Hmm.
100% popular.
Yeah, I think like going back to what you were mentioning with uh like Bubba Ray and the Hardy Boys and the Dudley Boys and stuff,
Mhm.
the way that they were able to go from like ECW to me was cool because they had to completely kind of change their brand, but they were still popular. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a lot of guys, if you noticed, like Sabu, he couldn't really
Mhm.
come into from ECW and go into WWE and be popular just because that's like not in his nature.
Yeah.
But guys that could do it, like the Dudley Boys, like Team 3D, whatever you want to call them, like the Matt and Jeff Hardys, like Rey Mysterio and like Rey Mysterio Kid and all those guys that like came before them. Those guys that were hardcore, but then can also like have an element of like actually being good on screen. I think that was the key for me because like Randy Orton when he was young, he came in and he was like a superstar like right off the
Oh yeah,
bat. Or
100%.
like John Cena, he came in, he was a superstar right off the bat. Even if he wasn't like really popular, like when he had his whole like rap image scene,
Mhm.
that was cool. You know what I mean? Like they kind of adapted over time,
Oh
and I
yeah.
think that's like one element in terms of like certain wrestlers that I liked where they could adapt. Like when Edge was like the bad boy and he was like had Lita and stuff like that
Yeah.
was cool to me as like kind of cringe as it was
Mm.
where he was just like beating up on everyone when it's like this guy would not win against like Kane and Big Show, but they
Mhm.
just made him like a villain all the time and like he was kind of like Vince McMahon's like henchman, I guess you'd say. So yeah, those eras of me were cool to me just because there's so many storylines and it didn't dip, like it
Yeah, it
always
didn't
stayed
dip.
above the like
Yeah.
14A mark, so yeah.
Yeah, 100%. John Cena, Randy Orton, Edge are goated. They are
For sure.
100% like
Yeah.
legacy at like the new era, like around 2000s and up.
Hmm. what's your favorite like old school like wrestler or old school and like now since you watch wrestling now?
Okay.
And I may or may not know who the new person is, but
Old school, 100% Rey Mysterio.
yeah,
The
okay,
man
yeah.
got me into wrestling. Even before
Mm,
I've seen John Cena, Rey Mysterio's always been like this guy. You know, he's short, he's fast, he can jump
mm-hmm.
like super high heights, like the Eddie
Yeah.
Guerrero and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
I've always looked up to him because I'm short. I used to
Yeah,
run
yeah.
fast. I used to like jump really high.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Rey Mysterio for sure, and for newer for this era, I think it has to go to Tyler Breeze because one, he's a fellow Canadian. Two, he's a very underrated wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, he wrestled with people like Jushin Thunder Liger, which is a popular wrestler in New Japan.
Okay.
And the fact that, as much as I love WWE, the fact that they made him like this guy who's reliable, but he's never getting that huge push. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm,
Like,
mm-hmm. For sure, yeah.
yeah,
Like those like in the middle between characters that they use
yeah,
and they branch them in like in the future. Yeah, I think that's cool.
yeah. That's what I hate about WWE. Tyler Breeze is so good that he should be like in the mid card titles, like the United States, the Intercontinental. I'm
Yeah, yeah.
I'm so glad that before he left WWE, because there was like a huge releasing like
Mm.
last year
Okay.
because of budget concerns. I'm
Okay.
so glad that he won a tag team title with his partner Fandango, which they formed Brizango. Brizango was
Okay, yeah.
really funny.
I know of Fandango. Yeah, I've heard of it before.
Yeah. Fandango's also underrated. He won against Chris Jericho in WrestleMania, which is
Okay.
pretty huge. And then both Tyler Breeze and Fandango just got like, all right, comedy act, mid class. You guys aren't winning any titles, but you're giving us a huge rating when it comes to like entertainment, which is good and bad. I can see that like I can see it being like a good and bad thing, but these
Mm-hmm.
boys are super underrated that they deserve a tag team title, and they did. Obviously, they won it like 2 years ago, which
Mm-hmm.
I am still happy. Don't get me wrong, but I really wish they had more. You know?
I think too, like one thing that like for people that are listening too, that people say, me being a big sports fan, people say like, oh, sports is like predetermined, and like, yeah, it is.
Mhm.
Like most people already know that,
Yeah.
but like regardless, you're still doing something at a very uh in a very athletic way. You're still putting your body on the line, similar to
Mhm.
other sports like
Yeah.
hockey, football, whatever.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
And regardless, there's a reason why before it was the World Wrestling Federation and then it went to the World Wrestling Entertainment, right?
Yeah.
It's entertainment. It's a form of like thing like people act and people do stuff in terms of like they have stuntmen, right? In movies. It's the
100.
same thing.
Mhm.
So, um regardless of what people think about wrestling now, even like for me, like even though I don't really like it, you could still have a respect for it. You could still have like a mutual like, oh, if people like it, they like it, even if I don't. So
Yeah. a hundred
I think
percent.
that's like one thing too for people that like listen to podcasts, right? It's
Mhm.
like sometimes like everyone has like an opinion on something, and even if me and JP have a completely different opinion on something, we still like have a mutual agreement about
Yeah.
wrestling that it's like in a form of entertainment. So
Yeah.
just to clear that up, because I see people bring up stuff like that all the time, even like previous podcasts I've had where it's like, oh, esports isn't sports and all this other stuff. It's like, if it's really gonna stress you that much, man, like it's you can just,
Yeah.
you know what I mean.
That's fair. Yeah. All right. Closing out WWE and
All right,
wrestling in general.
let's go.
We also mentioned that we have love for card games.
Yes.
Hearthstone not as much for me,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
Yu-Gi-Oh is something that we both have in common, which is
Mm-hmm.
goddamn good.
It's different too, because like there's not a lot of people that play Yu-Gi-Oh. Like for me, obviously you're more of like the card player. I'm more of the card collector.
Collector, yeah.
But like for me, like Master Duels is like my thing. So yeah.
Yeah, Masters Duels. I've been playing it. I haven't playing online mainly because my deck is currently in the shits. I
Yeah.
bought
Yeah.
I bought like 3 structure decks of Galaxy Eyes, and I'm still
Okay. Yeah.
working
Yeah.
on it. Obviously,
Yeah.
if you buy 3 structure decks, and then later on, if you collect more like the in-game currency, which are the gems, You can buy more
Yeah.
cards, but oh my god, collecting the gems is so
I yeah, I
annoying.
actually got kind of lucky because so like for people that don't know, like I play Dota, which we might get on to later,
Mm.
but I there's Dota items every year that you can sell right after a certain
Really?
period of time. Yeah, so like you can sell them for like in-game Steam currency. So I was like, okay, I'll put some items up in the auction, and I was like, oh, I'll throw like $30 into Master Duel so that I can get like at the time if you bought I think it was like a 10 set of packs, a 20, 30, and a 50,
Mm.
I think. If you buy each one, the price goes down like 15%. So once you buy it once, and then like your next time you buy that pack, it's obviously going to be like the higher value. So I bought each of the packs. So I don't know, that's like $100 or something, but I put like 40 in initially. And then I had money from my Steam thing. So then I just used that to buy most of my cards now. I mean, most of my decks aren't completely like confirmed, but like I think like in the Yu-Gi-Oh terms, they call them like 90% complete or like there's like mediocre middle cards that I can add or take out if
Oh
I
yeah.
want to at a later point. But like most of my decks are pretty much set. I think I have like 6 or 7. I think I mentioned that to you before. But yeah, most of my decks are set. So I've been competing a lot in Master Duels. Not lately as much, but in the past month I've been playing like a decent amount.
Yeah, I heard you've been building those shuttle construct, bro. Fuck is that?
Oh, nah, man. I honestly like I got to the first season I did of ranked. I went from like the starting rookie to well, plat was the highest. I
Mm.
hit plat in like maybe like 2 3 weeks. I was playing true Draco decks because like there's a lot of people obviously that are interested in Yu-Gi-Oh, but they don't really like understand how it works or how the game is played. So
Yeah.
true Draco decks just beats like anyone that either if you go second as true Draco, you kind of like insta win against people that don't know what they're doing, or if they have like really mulched hands. Because like for people that don't know true Dracos, you when you cast a true Draco, it has a secondary effect, which would be like negate a spell card. So it just instantly kills a spell card. Or like play this spell card and flip it and kill a trap card. When it goes to your graveyard, kill a playable card. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like a hand trap, like aggro deck, I guess what people would say.
Mm.
And I literally just played that. And I went from there to like platinum. And then when I started playing good players, I was playing like Prank Kids or that like Shadow or um True Brigade or
Yeah,
like
True
Harpy
Brigade.
Brigade. Like I was playing a lot of like those kind of decks, but once you get to like the higher ranks, then you actually play people that like actually know what they're doing. So you can't just play like Mimi decks. And I
Oh
think
yeah,
I
hundred
kind of
percent.
realized that after a while. I just kind of like took a break. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I've been trying to build a red eye stack ever since I started playing Master Duel. I didn't realize that like
Yeah.
ultra rares. I'm like, yeah, no, never mind. I guess I'm just gonna play
Yeah.
whatever I can play.
You're Red Eyes. Yeah, you're the Red Eyes fanatic over there for
I'm the
sure.
red. Okay, hang on. Let me just pull up. I have my deck box right beside me. I don't know if anyone can see this, but this is the card that I pulled on
Oh
Ghost from
yeah,
the
yeah, I can see
Past.
it.
Ghost or
Ghost
Red
from
Eyes
the
White
Past.
Dragon.
Good. That was a good set.
Expensive set.
Expensive set, but good set. I have some. I'm like for me, I'm more of like the OG, so I have like more of the OG cards, like speed
Mm.
duels. Obviously,
Oh
they're
yeah,
they're behind me, but I mean, I can always
Speed
send
Duel's
you
fun.
pictures after.
I like Duel Links. I got
Yeah,
platinum
Duel
Duel
Links is
Links.
fun. Duel Links is fun.
I got a platinum Duel Links, so I'm quite happy about that.
Yeah, I mean, Master Duels is good. I just wish they added more things. Obviously, like for me, I'm like a very competitive person, so when things don't get updated or added in, and it takes a long time for new things to come out, I get a little antsy.
Mm.
Like obviously, I wanted to compete, and continue competing in the TCG or different titles because, there's a lot of opportunities in the TCG for people to compete in variety of games, whether it be like, Hearthstone, Magic the Gathering, even games like TFT or like Hearthstone Battlegrounds and such, right? Like, so I
Mm.
kind of explored my options, and Master Duels lately hasn't had any like tournaments besides like underground things that are, I'm not gonna say stingy, but they're ran by specific people
Yeah.
or individuals that aren't like tournament organizers. So,
Mm.
you never really know what you're going to expect if it's going to be like, am I going to wait 3 hours for one game of Hearthstone or
Yeah.
sorry, Yu-Gi-Oh, or am I going to have a company that's going to plan these, make it productive and like a positive experience for the players. So
Mm.
I've been kind of like waiting to see like what they actually do for Yu-Gi-Oh Master Duels, just because like Yu-Gi-Oh TCG they have a circuit and like
Oh
things are
yeah. Oh yeah.
set and they have like tournaments on the daily or Duel Links tournaments. They have online Duel Links tournaments, but like they have nothing for Master Duels yet, right? So
Mm.
it's
Yeah.
just kind of a waiting game to see like what happens and how it gets pushed forward.
Yeah. As soon as if that actually happens, if there was esports for Master Duels, I will 100% grind. Sorry, I burped.
Yeah.
I'll 100% grind in that game because I
Yeah.
do love Yu-Gi-Oh. Right now,
Mm.
my love for the game has rekindled
Yeah.
because I watch a lot of like I watch a lot of YouTubers like Nim Nim, Rev's Card, and I
Hmm.
think Ruggles as well. I know Charlie. I think Penguins.
Yeah. Penguin Zero. Yeah.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
really
Like
loves
Moist
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Critical.
Yeah, Moist Critical really loves Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, and like he's too like for me more like the collector side. Obviously, like
Yeah,
the physical cards, I'm more of like a collector. So obviously he has a lot more money than we do, but so he can open up like bazillion amounts of boxes. So
that's
it's
true.
interesting just to see like what he opens. And yeah, I don't really follow that many Yugi tubers. Like there's a couple that I follow that are more of like just Master Duels, deck builders, competitors. I do watch a little bit of I think it's called the YCG, so like the Yu-Gi-Oh competitive or global competitive. Is it GC? Whatever. I
Yeah.
watch a little bit of that. It's really hard though for me because you're watching people play cards on a mat with like a camera over top of them
Mm.
or at home,
Oh
and
yeah,
it's
that's
really really difficult to see. So it kind of, again, like there's things that they could do to make these events better, and I think they have slowly but surely. But yeah, it's like you have Master Duels like right there. Like why is it taking so long to make something that's already a game that's already online,
yeah, 100%.
like similar to Duel Links, right? So
Yeah, I agree with that. And if you didn't
mm,
notice, I mean, should have put a
yeah.
title up there.
In the title, the FlyQuest jerseys.
Oh yeah,
Damn.
I gotta get the setup going, bro.
Get
I
them all. I have them all in my closet. Like all my jerseys that I have here are like teams I competed on here, but they're on my right side. But
yeah
maybe I could put that at the end.
yeah I saw your EG jersey.
Oh yeah, yeah. I got an EG, I got a Dig, and then I just have teams I played for like Momentum, Lineage.
Mhm.
What else do I have? My MSI Canada jersey. Yeah.
Momentum, come on.
Momentum. Yeah, I have the two Momentum. I got this one on now, and then I have the
You have the baseball too,
newly
right?
updated one, and I have the baseball. Yeah, so
Yeah,
I have
that
three.
was a banger. That was a real
That one's
banger.
cool. That one's cool.
Okay, moving aside from the letter C, now we're going to let you pick the other two letters.
I'll do B. I'm gonna go reverse order.
Right, B. All right.
Yeah,
This is very nostalgic for me because I
sure.
want to talk about DCI.P1.
Okay.
Were you excited as we were? Because for me, I've never experienced like quote unquote esport life. You know?
Yeah. Um. Yeah. I mean, just throwing it right in there. It was a unique experience for me, I think, because I've at that time I was obviously didn't have much that I was doing in terms of like my esports stuff. Like it was just basically like working and going to college,
Mhm.
and I figured at that time it was kind of beneficial for me to be like, let's start like a passion project, I guess you would say, and
Yeah.
just see like where it goes. Um, I was very excited to pick up teams because I had planned of doing something in terms of like my old high school or uh, getting involved somehow.
Yeah.
I wanted to obviously get involved a lot more, being one with that had at that time a lot of experience, and like obviously I gained more and more experience in esports since I started that. Like in a crazy amounts of ways, which we could talk about at another time or talk about later in this podcast.
Mhm.
But I was really excited to get it going. The LRSD, which is like our schooling district or school division,
Yeah.
it was new for them too, so I don't really blame them. But I wanted to get really involved. I wanted to really like change ways, and I was speaking to people that were running esports things, and they were kind of like, "No, we can't really do this. We can't really do that. Come back to us maybe next year." And I knew you guys more. That's why I
Oh
kind of
yeah.
took a more passion project with you guys.
Mhm.
People that I knew at Dakota, or I knew of people that were my friends that had you guys as like your siblings' friends, or you know what I mean, like that
Yeah,
sort of thing.
yeah,
So I was like, okay, I'm gonna
100%.
put a
Yeah.
lot more. Yeah, I'm gonna put a lot more effort into you guys. I had a lot of fun with it. I wish I could have done more. Obviously, I also put a lot on my plate in terms of like trying my best to get sponsors, but it's really hard to because of the fact that the LRSD and they can't just accept sponsors like that for teams.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So I had a good time. I had a good time with it. I wish I could have done it longer. I wish even just position one in general could have gone on for a longer time. But unfortunately, like in I guess you'd say career. I just finished college.
Yeah.
I had opportunities to join some like higher skill Dota teams, and I kind of had to focus on that at the time.
Hmm.
I was traveling to tournaments in like Toronto, qualified obviously for some in Montreal, so I couldn't really put like all my effort into it, and I didn't really have any help. I had other people in within Momentum that did different things. I had like graphic editors, Twitter people or social media people that would help me. I did a podcast with them too. So, it was just kind of a lot of things that stacked up. Um, but I guess going back to your question, I was really excited. I really wish I could have done more for you guys. But I think overall, you guys kind of just took it with
Yeah.
as much as I could with you guys, or as much as I could offer you guys. Um, Obviously, like the cool jersey you're wearing, I don't think a lot of teams had stuff like that,
Oh
which
no.
I kind of wanted to give you guys an experience of esports even while you're still in high school because I didn't have those opportunities when I was in high school. Obviously, esports wasn't as it is
No, no,
now.
no. Yeah.
So I was kind of like, it'll be cool. Like, let's give these guys some options. I wish, like I said, things could have gone better, gone differently, but we did what we could with it, and I know you guys had a lot of fun. Um, but yeah, I guess I don't know. Give me what your opinions on it, and just kind of see what you thought about it.
Yeah. After the 2018 season, which was the early stages of the league team,
Yeah.
during around summer to like around starting fall,
Hmm.
Jeremy's a good friend of mine and good
Hmm.
friend of Slacks as well. We've
Yeah.
planned everything summer. We were like, yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen with the roster. We know this one guy. We will never talk about his name, who stole the medal, by the way, and almost got caught. We
Yeah.
will not put him and move Jeremy in mid lane and grab the second team's AD carry and support into our main
Hmm.
roster because our current support was busy focusing with school because of his parents. He wants them to have good grades, which is understandable.
Yeah.
Um,
100%.
and we stuck with that roster. And then Jeremy's like, "Hey, let's kick it up a notch. I have a friend named Slakks. He wants us to have like this esport lifestyle." I'm like, "Dude, fucking go for it. I want
Yeah.
that."
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
it started from there. We've experienced like what it's like to be like practicing like during the weekends, especially practicing. I
Hmm.
think we no, not I think there was this one time during like around December, I believe,
Okay.
where we practice at Jeremy's place, like full setup. We have our
Yeah.
dual bot lane and some other table, and then there's me and another table.
Yeah. You were playing jungle at the time too,
Yeah,
right?
I
I
was
think.
playing jungle at
Yeah.
the time
Yeah.
too.
That's right. That's way
The
back.
hardest role, the
Yeah.
hardest role
Yeah.
to play. And we've practiced nonstop. We've created synergies. We've made plans. Jeremy's
Hmm.
busy with like drafting for us because, for me, I wanted to be like, hey, I want to be like part of the drafting phases too. But I guess I didn't get to
Hmm.
do that. So I just stuck with
Yeah.
the role of like having the book. I was basically Lemonation. I don't know. You know
Yeah. Yeah.
Lemonation.
Elimination. Oh
And
yeah.
then
Hundred
he has
percent. I
like
know
the
elimination.
book, and Jeremy's like, "Hey, you brought your book with you?" I'm like, "Yeah, man. Like every day." It's like, "Yeah, fucking sure." I just bring it up, and
Yeah.
then I
Yeah.
basically remind him what to draft,
Yeah. Hmm.
and then this is the fun part. When we started making the fundraiser for the jersey, I remember we had like I think 8 boxes or 5 boxes of pizza, and with pop as
Hmm.
well. And then the
Yeah.
school didn't give the school gave us permission to sell the pizza, obviously, but they didn't like
Yeah.
help us with the fundraiser making the jersey because
Hmm.
I don't know why we're representing the school for like essentially like
Yeah. A
two
competitive
years.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's not
Yeah.
like a boring thing to do. It's people who can't find a club to fit in. Like
Yeah.
we've
They
made
want
this
to compete
club.
in something that it's not mainstream. I
Yeah,
guess you'd say,
exactly.
right?
Yeah, and then later
Yeah.
on they're like, you know what? We'll just give you $100. Like, yeah, sure. I mean, it's essentially it's
It's something.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
better than nothing. And then they're like, if you're gonna do this, make sure to put our school logo. I'm like, yeah, sure, which is right here, which I don't mind.
Yeah.
I really like the color scheme.
The color scheme is nice, and I also honestly, I think I've seen the jerseys before, but I haven't seen the P1 on the side. Like I can see the
It's
P1 in gold
over
on the
here,
side.
bro.
Yeah, like that's cool. I don't think I've
That's
seen
dope.
that before in the jersey. Yeah.
That's really dope. I think the original design was black and white, which is I genuinely prefer, but black and yellow is fine. I wish it was black and gold because black and gold in general is just a really good
Yeah, that'd
combination.
be cool. Yeah, yeah. I feel that. No, I mean, like you said, doing lands with your friends, like that's what we
Mm,
did when we were younger, and like I was kind of the startup of League, like when it got really popular.
yeah.
Later transitioning to Dota, but nonetheless, we would do that too. We'd have lands at my buddy's house. We'd play League all day, and it's like, oh, we want to make it like feel like we're in an esports environment. But for us, it was always online things. Like we competed in the Ionia 2013 tournament. There
Ooh.
used to be a website called Surrender at 20.
I
It's
think I
very
remember that. Yeah, I
popular.
think I remember that.
It's a very popular like they did all like the league database stuff. So they show
Mm,
like the new skins, the new updates. They'd go through like all the patch notes and such.
yeah.
And they had a tournament, and it was like if you enter and you have to be out of 128 teams. So there was like 3,000 signups. If you get in, you're
That's a
in.
lot.
If you find your name, like you're competing. If you didn't get in, it's just luck of the draw. We just basically rolled names and you get in if not. So
Mm.
luckily we got in. We got like top 16, and we were all
Yeah,
like
it's huge.
at that time like low plat players, like maybe plat 5 to like plat 3.
Mm.
Which at that time, like for us, we were like, damn, we're like really good at the game because most of our friends were like, silver, bronze or silver, or like maybe
Yeah.
low gold. Um, and we did okay, but then we played like good teams. There was teams like like Rock Solid, which later turned to Dig. Like
Oh,
they
I
were in
remember
that
Rock Solid.
tournament, right?
Really?
So
You went up
yeah,
against like
we never
Scar.
played
Oh,
them. They
okay.
were in our bracket, like on
Okay.
our side of the bracket, but like we were top 16. We played like a random team. I think it was like a college team,
Oh,
like
okay.
It wasn't Maryville. It was I'm gonna take too long to remember,
I don't
but
think Maryville was in, but go on.
it was another college team
Hmm.
that made a team for fun. I guess like they were just people that were in school, and they were like diamond players, so like they were really
Okay.
good. I don't know if there's any notable people we played it with or played against, but anyways, yeah, like Rock Solid was in the tournament. There was other people too, like a lot of OG league players would know of,
Mm.
and that kind of got me started with competing in league. And we would later compete in other tournaments like those like Go for Lols, like Go for Lol
Go
cups.
for
Those were like
loss.
a
I
big
remember
thing when we
that.
were
Yeah.
younger. So for you guys to have the opportunity, and you guys also having like a LAN in person, like even though I know there was like a lot of issues with like internet
Oh.
connection
Yeah, we don't
and
talk
like
about that.
computer problems, but
We don't
we'll
talk about
like I digress.
that.
Uh, I wanted to always have that, and for you guys to have that opportunity to do that, and like have a little bit of representation, not only for myself with position one, but also have you guys have a way of showing off that like, hey, this is like what esports is. We have like a brand behind us. We want to compete. I figured that was like the best way to do it. So
100%.
yeah,
Uh, during like when we went to the finals, obviously with like the thing that happened,
yeah,
I remembered this one team. We were basically fighting for a losers bracket, and it was like for us, it's like the losers bracket finals.
yeah,
And there's this one team, uh, who we fought, and they kept complaining like, "Hey, you guys are keep pausing too much. This is a forfeit." I'm like, "Bro, we are fixing like internet issues. It's not our fault."
yeah.
And
Because you
they're
guys
like,
were all at the LRSD center, right? Or like
"Yeah, at ATC."
yeah,
We're in,
ATC,
it
yeah.
was, it was, it wasn't garbage, but it was like horrible to play. Like it was
Oh man,
hot garbage.
I remember sitting there too, and like I was casting your
Yeah,
guys'
you guys were
games.
casting our
Obviously, I
games.
would be like, oh, send me into the Discord, whatever. But it was like my problem too was, as people know, we go to tournaments here in Winnipeg. There was a lot of local. So like Baseland was a big local thing here in Manitoba or in
Hmm.
Winnipeg. Um, but there's always things that happen, like internet problems.
Oh yeah,
Oh, you guys are playing here at 11 a.m. and you don't play till 4 p.m. Like that's a long waiting
that's a
time.
long waiting time. Yeah,
So like for you guys, I'm sitting there streaming. I'm like, when's your next game? Like, you know,
just
everyone's
chilling.
there, all in person. There's like 10 teams. Like it should go pretty quick. It's
Yeah,
like, oh, Jeremy's like, yeah, we play in like 2.5 hours. I'm like, how am I supposed to keep my stream on for 2.5 hours when I
yeah,
was specifically streaming just your games? Like that was my goal. It was like I
yeah,
had nothing else planned.
yeah.
And I had
100%.
like there was actually quite a bit of people. There was people like from all your schools that were in there. I had like 19 people. I'm like, hey, I'm just gonna turn my stream off and come back in like 2 hours because like I'm not gonna wait here and like chill. You
Yeah,
know, I'm not gonna throw ads on my screen. For
yeah,
2 hours of just like pointless background. Like, be back for the next set. So
yeah.
that was a problem for me, and I think obviously they could have fixed it. Maybe they did. Maybe they are attempting to make things better. I hope, anyways. But um,
I think
Yeah,
they
there's just a lot of issues that happened, I think, with that.
100%. Yeah, I think Dakota just dropped League and brought Rocket League instead. I think,
Oh,
which is
okay.
fine. I don't really
Which
mind.
is cool. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
there's just different demographic of people now too. Like probably a lot of the younger kids that come up, if there is still like an esports thing. Which again, you guys started that, so I mean,
Yeah.
that's one thing that's cool for you guys is like you guys know that you guys made the way for other people that are at Dakota that want to be like esports or like want to compete,
Mm.
regardless of what game is. But like yeah, like I said, there's new demographics of people that come in now. Where at that time, League was like the thing.
Yeah.
Now it could be variety of different esports, which is so much more mainstream. So
100%. I agree with that.
yeah.
And then last thing I want to talk about with the letter B question.
Yeah.
If you honestly, I wish you were there for the group picture because we were all like standing with our uniform, and then our basically our quote unquote team manager was with
Yeah.
us, and I
Hmm.
really wish it, you were there because you're the owner of the team.
Oh,
Hard to say.
that's fine. I mean, I knew like I actually did want to come there, but I would have had to fill out forms because I'm not a student.
Hmm.
I'm also was of an older age, so
Oh yeah.
it was a lot of things that I had to go through, which I can't obviously say because it's like legal stuff that
Mhm.
I wanted to do, but I like I said I couldn't. Whereas like I wanted to go there, I wanted to I was planning to actually bring my setup there. And I don't think I'd get in trouble for this. I was wanting to bring my setup there and record like IRL stream there, because
Yeah.
I had a like a pocket Wi-Fi, so I
Mhm.
had a pocket Wi-Fi with my phone. I had my Streamlabs all set up on my phone. Everything was set because I was doing like some IRL streaming when I streamed a lot more back then,
Mhm.
and I wanted to do that at the venue so I could go around, do like I said like, hey, could I do interviews with like the players? Like obviously I think this would be really cool for them not only like
Oh
but for
yeah.
me because I get content from it, and I could be like, hey, I'm the guy that wants to push Winnipeg esports in the high school division, like not overall, but I just want to help high school kids like
Oh yeah.
see what
In
esports
general,
is.
yeah.
And they're like, no, you need to send filming footage to all the parents of all the kids that are attending. Uh, we don't allow non school or school individuals to be there unless you fill out a form from like the LRSD, like head honcho, all this stuff. And I was just like, man, like now I see why when we're in school and and teachers are like, all right, guys, sign your forms to go to the Museum of Manitoba. It takes like 6 months to get that done because I wanted to get it done in a month,
Yeah.
and that didn't happen, obviously.
Mhm.
And yeah, it was a little bit like upsetting because obviously I wanted to make it better and make it bigger than it was, but like they have their rules, which is fine. But yeah, I wanted to make it like a way bigger thing, and I had the time to do it, but then they told me like it would take like 4 to like 6 months to get things pre-approved for me to do that. So yeah, it just didn't
100%.
work out.
Yeah. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
unfortunate, but hey, we all enjoyed our time there.
yeah,
Even like after our generation, I offered to stay as a coaching position,
hmm
which was fun. I honestly put a lot of effort into it, and then
hmm
the pandemic happened, and then the school
yeah.
district basically said, "Hey, we can't continue this tournament." I'm like, but they could just play at home."
Play it online.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
and they're like, "No, it's not fun." I'm like, or
It's not.
it's like,
Yeah, they're like it's not feasible. It's like too time consuming. Where it's like you could literally just like put on. We would do it all the time. We'd have teams like from Winnipeg, and we'd just put on like best of three like practice tourneys. We would do that all the time.
100%. Now, up on to the next question. We'll segue to the last question.
Sure.
What got you into esports? Like, what game? Or
Wow.
who? Or who?
Who? Okay, so obviously League was like the first. I wouldn't say big PC game that I played.
Mm. I thought you was gonna say Quake.
We played a lot of 1.6. Like me and
Okay.
my cousins played a lot of 1.6, but I didn't really care about esports. I didn't really like, I guess, pay attention to it as much.
Mm.
Um, and like a lot of RTSs, we played like StarCraft, like Brood War. A lot of my cousins we played like Dawn of War or like
Oh, Dawn of War,
Age of
yeah.
Empires. Like a
Mm.
lot of my cousins were really big RTS people.
Mm.
But at that time, esports wasn't really known or really big unless you were like a Counter Strike player, right?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Or like a Han player or like a Dota
Han,
1
dude,
player,
that's.
right? There was
I love you mentioned Han.
yeah, like my cousins, one of my cousins, my close cousins, he's a Han player, and he kind of, I wouldn't say showed me the ropes, but he was kind of like, a person that was like, oh, these are what gaming is, like these are what tournaments are, and like come over, like let's have LAN. So like back then, I have like terrible pre-built gateway computer and playing like Han or like Age of Empires or like Dawn of War, those kind of things. And then it kind
Mhm.
of, when I got older, like League of Legends came out and I got beta access to it from a friend.
Mhm.
And I never had played any style of that before, like maybe a little bit of Han.
Mhm.
But that got me into the esports, like gaming in general. Like I said, I've been gaming since I was really small. Like I was an N64 kid, always
Oh
have
yeah,
been. I mean, my N64 is
I can
really
see that
literally right
C4.
above me,
Yeah.
and I have another one here on my side. So like I've always been insanely invested in gaming, and once League came out, I really pushed myself to be like, I like this. Obviously, at that time there was no really like hard tournaments, money. There was nothing like that, but um we had like Baseland, which has some small tournaments like Counter Strike when CS:GO came out, and that was when I first like invested myself into competing. Was like the Baselands, the Ionia 2013 tournament,
Mhm.
and then uh, yeah, ever since then it's kind of just like gone further and further from that. Obviously, like I said, esports is always getting bigger and better and more extravagant, and
Mhm.
even for like the tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 leagues. For me, like being able to travel to Toronto and
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
almost being able to go to Montreal, but COVID, so that
Yeah.
kind of threw that apart. But like ever since like basically League was the game that started me getting going in it, and then I just kind of adapted to the new games that came out or games that I like. Honestly, no word of a lie, I got into Dota, which is probably the game that I've competed the most in as of right now. That and Hearthstone,
Mhm.
but I got into Dota at Baseline. I was playing League of Legends, and I was like, "Oh, Dota's free. I'm gonna try it." Like I played Dota 1 a little bit, but I was like, I'm a League kid, so I just
Yeah.
always stuck with League. And I'm going to play Dota 2. I played Dota 2. I was playing like sniper mid, and I'm just frying kids. And I'm like, damn, this is fun. Like, there's no recalls. It's a lot more like strategic. The map's huge,
You
so you
can
can like
deny
gank.
minions.
Yeah, you can deny minions. You can like a lot of meme stuff that you could do in the game, eating trees and stuff at that time. And you're like, damn,
Yeah.
this is like really cool. And then basically since that baseline, I just like hyper invested in Dota. But anyways, I'm going really off topic. Anyways, but we
Yeah.
can get into that more. League of Legends was the first game that I got into, and it was literally because I got the beta for it. And I tried it out, and my buddy's like, League of Legends is really good, and I'm like, yeah, it's okay. Like it's an okay game. And I just played more and more and more, and I was watching like videos of League, and I literally only played Tristana, and I played bots for probably like 7 days or like a week. I was just playing bots and just destroying them. And then I was playing actual players, and it's like there's like no skill because like it's so new.
Mhm.
So you're just playing Trist and like maxing E, and I'm just like Tristana's old E, you just shoot someone, and it
Oh
would
yeah.
just tick them like it was like an
Yeah.
ignite
DOT.
basically.
Yeah.
And I'm just wrecking kids. I'm like, damn, I'm really good at this game. And that basically got me into League. Honestly, if I would have sucked at League, I probably would have quit pretty fast because I really didn't like it when I first started.
Yeah. I agree with that.
But
I
yeah.
never got the chance to play League in its early days, but you want to know what game that actually got me into esports?
Oh, God.
You'd be very surprised what game it is.
Can I take a guess?
Yeah, go for it. It's not
Okay, I'm
League.
trying to think because you're a little bit younger than I am,
Mm.
so I'm trying to think of an esport like at that time that would have been popular. Wouldn't be. I don't think Quake. I don't think you're like a
No.
shooter guy. Is it okay? Quick question: is it an esport like now? Kind of or no?
It's on the unpopular
Uh
side.
is it Pokemon? Like
Unfortunately, no.
okay, never mind. Okay, what is it? I'm actually
It's
curious now.
it's a CS ripoff, or not ripoff, like a CS copy of. Yeah, it's a CS copy. It's called Crossfire
Crossfire, yeah,
from
that's sick
South
actually.
Korea. Yeah,
Yeah,
Crossfire is
Crossfire is still
huge.
really popular too. I had cousins that played Crossfire a lot, like because it's more like 1.6 style, right? So
Yeah,
yeah,
the fact that the guns have like, oh, this is a crystal M16. It deals a lot of
yeah,
damage, but high recon. I'm like, this is fucking bullshit. I love it.
yeah,
And
yeah. Crossfire, I remember being like really weird and
really,
wacky.
it is weird. And then Crossfire in general is just really huge in the Philippines. I've heard about like tournaments running,
Oh
like there've been
yeah,
like
yeah,
prize money and like for some reason like shirt and like
mm,
linears. I'm like, dude, that's fucking sick.
yeah. Well,
I
that's like
was
just like how Dota was, right? Like Dota's
Yeah.
so popular in the Philippines. Like
Oh yeah, 100%.
me expecting like someone like yourself, I would expect you, yeah, like to like
Be
that
a
makes
Dota
sense.
guy.
Crossfire makes sense just because of like that's like a very popular game where you were from, right? So
Yeah, I never got
where you are
into
from.
I never got into Dota. I was more of a Warcraft 3 kind of guy, and then Dota.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. Like I didn't really play like really any Dota 1, but I mean a lot of people didn't unless you were like a Dota 1 or no one really got into Dota 2 being a Dota 1 player because of just the age. Like a lot of Dota 1 players are older individuals now where they're like, they have kids or,
Oh
they're
yeah.
just adults basically. I know we are considered adults, but in reality we're still very young. But yeah, like honestly, like the for me, like League brought me into the MMO genre,
Yeah,
and
same
then
here.
coming from that into Dota, and just seeing like again, I love both games. I don't have any discrepancies with both games, but it's just like Dota just seemed more enticing to me
Mm.
because of the structure of it and how many like tournaments there are. Where it's like League going to like a more marginalized esport where it's like you have your 10 teams,
Yeah.
similar now to like how Dota DPC is, but there's also a lot of smaller like tier 3 tier 4 tournaments where league there's like almost none. So for me that's always kind of what I looked at in terms of like games I wanted to compete in. And I'm not like saying like, oh, I just play esports for the money. Obviously it's a factor because you'd
Yeah.
want to win money and like showcase your skill, but yeah, league is just there's just so many people in the eco space of esports where it's really hard to show off, where there's so many other games nowadays that you can get into. So
100%.
yeah.
Got any favorite hero in Dota?
Uh, well, I'm a position 4-3 player, so in the three, I'd say love Tidehunter. He's definitely one of my favorite
Okay. Okay.
characters. I mean, Tidehunter, Enigma.
My
I
cousins love
really,
playing
really
Enigma.
been a
That's a good one.
like when I smurfed mid because I like when I recalibrated and I was like I don't know, like Archon like 5, and I was like, oh, I just want to like grind. And at that time, Queen of Pain is really strong, so I played like a lot of Queen of Pain.
Mm.
Queen of Pain mid, Queen of Pain safe lane, like whatever. I didn't even care because Queen of Pain was just so broken at the time. But like yeah, Tidehunter, Queen of Pain. I really like. I'm a really big fan of Kunkka. I always just really like the character, and you could play it as a 4 before,
Mm.
so not as much now. Like Kunkka's kind of just like a mid or like I mean sometimes a safe. But yeah, I would
Okay.
say Tidehunter, Queen of Pain, Kunkka, Marana. Those are probably like my four favorite, most favorite characters. Yeah.
All right. That's a huge.
Yep.
It's a wide range of like favorites. I only play like two characters, dude. I play like Viper
Yeah.
and Dragon Knight. That's
Yeah,
it.
you're the Dragon Knight homeboy
I'm
over
the
here.
Dragon Knight one trick. That's literally the only character I play consistently.
Dude, I mean, that's the thing. The thing I like about Dota and like yourself, right? Even
Mm.
if you're playing characters that are unpopular or not necessarily like quote unquote good, you can play them in basically any role.
Yeah,
Like,
100%.
you know, people like you said like Veno or not Veno, you said who did you say?
Venom.
Viper. You said
Viper, yeah,
Viper.
Viper, yeah.
Viper was long time was a mid only character, right?
Yeah.
And then people were playing Viper as a 3, so like you're basically like for people that don't understand, you're basically like a tank or like you're off lane, so you're
Tank
like a
Viper?
bruiser, like a tank bruiser, but you're just building like Rod of Atos, which like locks you in. It's basically like a item that stuns you for like a duration. Put it
Okay.
that way. People were building that. People are playing it as a 5. People are playing it as a mid. It's so diverse in Dota, and I think that's one thing that I like comparative to League, where most of the time, I'm not saying every character, but like most of the time, you have a character, and that the way that they are just coded or the way that they are meant to be played is
Mm.
for a specific role.
Yeah.
You could still play meme stuff like Thresh top, but he's basically always supposed to be a support character.
Mm.
Whereas in Dota, you could pick Tidehunter and be a 5 and be a tank support with a huge ult, or you could be a 3, or you could be you could even be a carry. You could go Midas and you could do stupid shit like that. That's I think for me was one thing that I always liked about Dota was that it's so much the more diverse where
Oh
you
yeah,
could play these
100%. Yeah.
characters because of the way that the items are created, where there are a lot more activatables. Whereas the League is just kind of like buy an item and hit people and use your abilities.
Yeah. It's
So,
yeah, I agree with Dota being more diverse. I remember building this one item on Viper where it lowers the cooldown of your ulti. I forgot. I think it was called like no, it wasn't
oh,
Archangel Staff. I always built that one item because I
I know
got
I know what you're talking about.
yeah,
I can't remember the name. There's so many items in Dota. It's crazy.
yeah, that's crazy. And then my favorite item in Dota is Vanguard. It's always been Vanguard.
Oh, Vanguard, yeah.
I don't know why. I always build Vanguard on Viper, like early game or mid. Vanguard's always been like a second or third item.
Yeah.
Or
Oh
port.
man, like you could have a whole podcast of just talking about Dota, man. Dota's such a cool game.
It
It's
is.
so much fun.
I really haven't got
It's
into it.
it's really hard to be really good at Dota,
Oh yeah.
but I think just like the overall style of the game, the esport being like so diverse, the game being so diverse,
Mm.
yeah, it's a pretty crazy experience.
Dude, you gotta invite me one of these Dota games, even just for like a norm.
Oh
Dude,
yeah, yeah,
I'd be
100%,
down.
100%. Play
I'd be
some
down.
play some just fun drafts. Yeah, I'd be down for that for sure. Um, yeah, no, anything else you want to talk about in terms of esports, anything like that? I got some time. We got some extra time if you want to do some other topics.
Okay, okay. Off topic. Favorite esport team of all time.
Oh shit.
There we go. Hard hitting question, baby.
Can I say it from specific games?
Sure.
Like from the past, I mean, like can I is it like from the past or favorite just like team in general?
In general, in general,
In general?
you can have like a top five or top three. It's
Okay,
really
so League, I'm gonna say it from a timeline just because so I really, I mean, you probably already know for League, I really like the OGTSMs, and it was
OGTSM's good.
literally just because of the content, like Odd One, Dyrus, and like their house and all that stuff.
Mm,
Really, really like that. So that would have been, I don't know, until like 2014, 15, 16, around that era when they all kind of stopped playing.
mm.
Dota, I've always been a huge Team Secret fan, um,
Respect.
and I've always like admired Puppy. At the time, Arteezy was on
I
that
know RTZ.
team.
I know RTZ. Yeah.
Kuroki, like Zai being like one of like the best like position threes and fours. I always really liked the Team Secret teams.
Mm.
Obviously now they're not doing like too hot, but they still have like a good team. They just teams are
Loyal.
teams are
That's
teams. They
loyalty
change
right
and
there.
they have to develop. Um, EG is a really close one for me for Dota as well because like they're the only like that we're the solid NA team in terms of like I mean a team that has won a TI. Um,
For NA.
yeah, like EG1 for NA and TI5
Ooh.
with
Okay.
Sumail and like those boys, Sumail and PPD and like a bunch of other people. But that would be that for me. Teams, teams. I'm trying to think of other esports that I really cared about. I mean, I used to play like HOTS a lot too. That's like a completely off the ramp thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I always really liked Dignitas from EU because they were like the only good team that could actually fight against like the Korean
Oh
powerhouse
yeah.
HOTS teams back then, like the Gen Gs, like those kind of organizations.
Mm.
I do have a lot of esports specific players that I really appreciate. Like I'm a big FGC guy, so like Leffen I thought was cool because he has like that villain arc
Oh
thing.
yeah. I
And
agree with
I
that.
don't know, maybe I'm just like a dick, but I just really like
Yeah.
people that go against the grain. I
Oh.
I
Okay.
I just really like that like you know, for me, I'm a big shit talker when I
Oh,
played at baselines.
I know. You
People are
you
about
mentioned
me.
this.
I'll talk shit. It's not because like I'm a dick. Like I'm not just doing it to be. It's like I want to like I'm like a boost. I'm a boost guy. I'm a morale guy. I want to like, yo, like let's go. Like we're gonna win this. And I did it when I played sports. I played hockey since I
Mm.
was 5 till I was like 18. So like I was always like that. And in terms of like esports, it's kind of the same thing, right? It's still a team atmosphere. So I think guys that go against the grain, they talk a lot of shit. They just like they back up what they say. So like guys like Leffen, I appreciate, even if he has like questionable things that he says.
Mm.
Nothing like too bad, but it's more of like just hating on certain people and stuff like that. Obviously, whatever
Yeah.
that
I mean
teach
that's
their own,
fine. Yeah.
teach their own. But yeah, I've always really liked Leffen. Other specific people that I always appreciated. RDU, who was like a Hearthstone player before.
Mm-hmm.
He played for like G2 and a couple other esports teams. I'm a big like Hunter player, and he was like the iconic Hunter player like way back when, um, you know, Hearthstone was kind of in its like I would say glory days or like startup days when it was really popular. He was always a kind of an iconic player in that sense because he kind of built a deck that or built a style of deck that I really wanted to show off. And Hearthstone's been like a game that I've always followed for off and on for I'd say the past like 6-7 years. So Other than that, yeah, I don't know. I think that's pretty much my answer. I don't know if I have any other one specific. What about yourself? What is your like? Okay, I'm gonna give you a couple questions here. Okay, okay, dude. I'm gonna give you some things here. So I'm gonna say your favorite team from the past.
Past.
Okay,
Okay.
your favorite team now,
Okay.
and then whatever specific games that you followed, your favorite team, similar to like how I did it. So like like I
Okay. Okay.
from different games, different genres, whatever.
Back then, I have two favorite teams from like League back then. It was OG TSM. I used to follow TSM like Wild Turtle,
Oh yeah, yeah, okay,
before Bjergsen came in. So Wild
yeah.
Turtle, I really looked up to Wild Turtle because of his aggressive style,
Hmm.
and OG C9. As soon as C9
Oh
came into
yeah,
the picture, I was like, God damn, this team's indestructible.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
followed those two teams. Now, uh, pretty much,
Yeah.
I'm a FlyQuest humble fan,
FlyQuest everything. FlyQuest Melee, FlyQuest this,
Yeah,
FlyQuest that.
they signed two melee players, by the way.
Yeah, they said they saw Jmook. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
actually really good.
so I'm
He's
pretty hyped.
also a um
The Sheik one streak.
Sheik player. Yeah, he's a
Yeah,
Sheik player too, which is really cool because Sheik's a really cool character. Not a lot of people play Sheik nowadays.
100. Yeah, I've never got into melee, but for sure, if I have to pick like a favorite like other genre esport guy,
Hmm.
Leffen, as you mentioned before, I really like Leffen during his
Yeah,
like villain arc. He was like
yeah.
taking
He's like
down people who are like really good in NA.
yeah, he's like considered like the God Slayer of Melee,
Yeah,
basically,
yeah,
where he
that
killed
was the
like all the
title.
gods. Yeah,
Yeah,
that video is really cool actually. If you've ever seen that, there's
I
a guy that
watched it
made a video
twice.
like
Yeah.
12-minute video on it. It's all of Leffen's games beating like the gods, which was like Hungry Box, Armada, all those guys. It was really cool.
And then
Um,
outside of like League, I really like C9 CS:GO when they won the major in 2018.
mm,
That was really
yeah,
huge. For I really wish I got into Dota, but right now I think T1 has a PH team, right?
yeah, yeah. So there's they're in the SEA region. I think they're in the
Yeah.
tier. I think they're still tier one division, but they're like middle of the pack tier one. But there's a lot of like full Filipino rosters. I mean, TNC has been like an iconic Filipino roster. Boom is like, I think, four Filipinos or maybe
Mhm.
three. Um, Team SMG, they're like three Filipinos, two Malaysians, I think. So like, yeah, they're like the SEA region is majority Filipino players. I'm
Phil-
pretty positive.
Dota 2 is huge in Philippines, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Who else? Outside of like people who are not currently in a esport team, I watch a lot of Cybertron, VGC, a Pokemon Pro player, and
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Wolfie. I think I watch a lot of those
Oh
two.
yeah, yeah. I know Wolfie. Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
and for Yu-Gi-Oh right now, I don't know if there's anyone that's like a part of an esport org except for Nim Nim. He's currently on Pittsburgh Knights.
Pittsburgh Knights. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
know of
watch.
that. I remember me and you were talking about that when that was released. That's pretty cool that
Yeah,
they're picking up some people. And he's like also like TCG, like he's like
yeah,
everything. He's like TCG, um, Master Duels, Duel Links.
yeah.
Like he's all in on that. So
He's very all in. I like that. And who else? For individual players as they are, for my top five, it's mostly just league
oh,
players.
that's good. Yeah, we'll run a top five here. League
Yeah.
players of all time. Your top five favorites.
Number one, High. I really like his leadership. Not because he's
Mm,
like amazing. Like again, he's not amazing in like in game, but when it
mhm.
comes to like you do this, test that, you do that, test that, boom, leadership.
Yeah, he was like an iconic like actual like captain of a
Yeah.
of a roster back then. He was kind of like the white knight of league captaincy at the time because no one really did anything. They kind of just
Yeah.
like played the game. Like
Yeah, hundred
basically, they're like, "Oh,
percent.
this is the patch. Play these characters that are the best." Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And then Sneaky, very underrated player. I really like Sneaky.
Hmm.
Wild Turtle, obviously, and then Centaurin. Centaurin is probably one of my favorite junglers,
Yeah.
both NA and EU. And then for last, I'm surprised. I'm surprised because when I told people about my like favorite pro players of all time, I didn't mention like the Bjergsen, the Doublelift, the Afromu, the
Yeah.
Faker. Like they're cool and all, but I want something that's like super underrated. So I
Yeah,
so
I
the
feel that.
so I wouldn't say this person's underrated. I think he's like decent, like high rated for
Hmm.
my fellow Filipino ex Smithy.
Oh, hells yeah, hells yeah.
I
He's
love this.
coaching TSM Academy now too.
Yeah, I'm pretty proud about that. Honestly I thought he would be like. I saw the announcement on Twitter and he's like, oh wait, Smithy on TSM. I thought he was playing. I was like, there's
Yeah.
no way it's working here.
There's
Oh
no
no,
way. Yeah, that guy's been
never
around forever. He's
mind.
like a dinosaur, man.
Academy, take it back.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, those are my top five players. I'm not gonna go to EU and Korea because I'm an
Hmm.
NA guy. I watch LCS. I only watch like LCS until like recently
Yeah.
where I watch different
I,
regions.
I'm like, yeah, like mine's probably a lot of like OGs, which like you may or may not know, but like, I mean,
Yeah,
I've always, as weird as it is, I've always respected Dyrus, so I'm just gonna throw him up there because I always thought he was
Darius
like a
respectable.
meme person, but
He's
like I actually
respectable.
like just thought he was funny and
He's
like
really
cool.
good. I like
So I
his
always,
content.
yeah, so Dyrus for sure. Actual good players. Um, Top lane. Me being mainly a top lane player, Mac Noon.
Ooh,
I always
Mac
thought he
Noon.
was sick when I was younger. I was like, dude, this guy's doing like Ionic Spark top Shen shit. I was like, that is so cool. Mac Noon, Smeb. I really liked Smeb. I'm trying to think of um trying to think of other top Impact. I think he was like
Impact's
an
really good.
iconic top.
Mhm.
Obviously Korean, then playing in NA for like so long and like just doing it on any team he's on.
He finally won
So I
an
throw
NA
it.
title again.
Yeah, so I throw Impact on there as probably my third, fourth, fifth. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think here. Um, Damn, this is tough.
It is, yeah.
Uh,
Especially when you're like trying to pick top laners.
yeah, I'm trying to think of like iconic like ADs or supports. Mad Life 100% I'll throw in
Okay,
there.
Mad Life,
I
alright.
always thought he was so cool.
He is
And
cool. I
number
remember he when he
five,
played in NA in Challenger GCU.
right, right, right.
That was weird.
Um, didn't he? Yeah, he played on like team like Gold Coin or
Yeah,
something, didn't
Gold Coin.
he?
That was weird.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember that.
That was a fever dream of a
It's
roster.
weird how you remember these things like just so back, like so far back. You're just like, oh yeah, I remember this. Yeah, number five. I'll just say Double Lift. I always think he's pretty iconic,
Yeah, he's a very
pretty
iconic
iconic
one.
of a player.
Yeah, that's respectable.
Yeah.
I respect that list.
Yep.
You got like some little OG and then some newer
OG and
era.
some new school. Yeah, yeah.
Respectable.
Yes, sir.
Let's see what else because I'm running out of questions. Ooh, how about favorite card you go? I don't need to answer this because I already know what I, or at least favorite archetype like the Blue Eyes, the Dark Magician. Are you more of a
Mm,
Are you more of an E hero kind of guy? Are you more of Stardust?
no, no. I'm trying to think of like it's a cop out answer,
Yeah.
but because it's got to be Pot of Greed, dude.
Oh my god. What's the
The
card do?
entire Pot of Greed dark archetypes, any of them.
What does the card do?
Well, Pot of Greed, you draw five, and then you
Oh,
discard three. Was that the OG?
I thought no. It's draw two cards.
Is it draw two?
You just draw two. No, no,
Oh,
no drawback.
I'm thinking of the new Pot of Greed, the green with the pink, with the
Oh,
pink on the side. What
I'm
is it
trying.
called?
Is it Avarice? Photo Avarice? It's not pink.
No, Pot of Avarice is like
The
the
purple
flipped
one.
face one.
Yeah.
Ah, I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't
Any
remember.
of the Pot of Greed archetypes I think are really cool. Any Karibo cards I think are cool because those are like super OG.
Oh yeah, original hand
Um,
traps.
yeah, True Draco cards are sick.
Mhm.
Um, uh, um, like the Toon Blue Eyes. I
Ooh,
think any Toon
Toon
cards are
cards.
really
Okay,
cool.
okay. Those are good ones.
Um, Trying to think else. Oh, what's the obviously with my logo being a clown.
Mm.
Um, what's the like Gen 1 clown card? It's from the
Oh,
anime.
I know what you're talking about. Oh, is it? If this
Oh,
is it?
I'm gonna search it. I gotta search
Yeah,
it.
I got. I'm looking it up. Sage did our clown. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Soggy the Dark
I
Clown. Yeah,
remember there's a
Soggy the
dark
Dark
clown.
Clown. Clown Zombie. Like the zombie cards actually are really cool. So like Dream Clown, Mystic
Mm.
Clown, yeah, Mystic Clown, Clown Zombie, Mask Clown. I like all those cards. I think those like even though they're like really bad, I think they're like cool looking. Because I'm more of
Uh,
the collector type.
Saggy got a new card. A
Yeah.
Lake monster, Saggy the Shadow Clown. Never used it before, but you know what? Sounds
Oh.
cool. It
Yeah,
sounds really
Dream
cool.
Clown. Dream Clown was actually pretty good because it was the uh when you change its position, you destroy another person's card, and it's a 12 attack, 1200 attack, 900
Uh,
D. So if you just literally just you play it face down and play with a trap card that negates someone from activating your card,
mhm.
you could always just keep switching him positions, and it would always kill a minion on his head.
Oh my god, wait, that's actually sick.
Yeah, Dream Clown was like really good, and then I remember they like took it out of competitive because people would just do that, right? They just play like hand trap decks.
Mhm.
So they'd play like, oh, there's that hand trap deck that you play where it's like, um, the more you kill your own minions and you banish the card, and then you can draw it. If you draw it with when it's in your banished cards, it does like 4K damage like
Mhm.
instantly. So people would just play that with Mystic Clown, and then they would just continuously, or not Mystic Clown, Dream Clown, and then they
Mhm.
would keep switching. You just hand trap them over and over and over again, and then have it dies, Monster Reborn because it was really broken back then.
Yeah, Master Reborn. That's why it's on one. That's why it's still
Yeah,
one.
that's why it's still one. Yeah, well, it used to be two, like way back.
Used to
But
be two,
it
bro.
used to be two way
Wait,
back. Yeah,
that's broken.
it used to be two way back, and then there were so many other cards too that were like, look at cards in your banished deck,
Mm.
draw one. There used to be so many more cards like that, and then I think people realized like, yeah, these cards are just really OP, so we're not gonna make any of those anymore.
Yeah, because there's no drawbacks for them.
Nope, nope,
Yeah,
nope.
that was disgusting. That was nuts actually back
Well,
then.
that's like True Dracos, right? It's like True Dracos kind of like that now, but
Mhm.
it's like you have to banish something to redraw it. Like you're
Oh, okay.
banishing, or you're playing Pot of Avarice to draw two, and then
Banish
you're
them.
drawing two, and then hoping you get like um a True Draco, so then you could play your Draco and then banish one of your spells, which then activates on the field, but you're still losing that spell card for the rest of the game, right? So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's nuts. That's
yep,
actually nuts.
yep, cool archetypes, but
Mm.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, I'm glad that you had me on. It was fun.
Yeah. Thank you
I'm
so
always open to
much.
do this like we talked about. So,
Mm. Is there
dude, we
anything
could literally
else?
just ramble. We could literally just ramble on forever, dude. That could be the podcast.
Honestly, yeah, that could be the thing. Yeah, thank you so much for your time, man. Like,
Hmm.
I've been trying to get this thing to happen, but I never got the
Yeah,
time because I was busy with
yeah,
like work and whatnot.
yeah, for sure, for sure.
So, yeah, is there anything else you want to say? Plug in that new
Oh,
esport team you're in.
yeah, yeah, sure, man. So again, thank you, JP, for having me on. I appreciate. Honestly, podcasts are so much fun to do. Like, regardless of what you talk about, just like hanging out with people and just
Yeah.
chatting. Going over like stuff like Yu-Gi-Oh or like WWE, like you did. Like,
Mm.
I don't really talk about it that much with like other people. Like, very minimally, I do,
Mm.
unless it's like my cousins. When you like going back to the glory days when you're a little kid. But
Mm.
no, I appreciate you having me on.
No
Shout
problem,
out
my guy.
to Imperium esports org from Vancouver that I'm currently on. So shout out to them. They've been like super friendly to me. Very nice with like accommodating me and getting me set up with all these tournaments that I'm entering. If
Mm.
I ever have any issues, like they're always there to help me out. Canadian org as well, so can't complain with that.
Mm.
Um, Shout out to all the OG Momentum dudes that still hit us up or hit me up, and we appreciate it. Like we'll see what we can do in the future with Momentum. Don't want to leak anything,
No,
but
it's a
you
tease.
know
This is a
things
teaser right
are
here.
there's some words in the background that are coming out that we're just we're playing the field right now.
Testing the
So
waters. Yeah.
yeah, testing the waters, and yeah, I think that's pretty much it. You can check me out at Slakks KF on Twitter. That's where I do most of my fun-loving tweets talking about esports. I don't really stream much, so I'm not really gonna plug my stream.
I'll plug it anyways. Why not?
But yeah, always follow me on Twitter because if I'm playing in tournaments and stuff, you can just see there. Like I'm competing in some ESL tournaments right now, like ESL qualifiers. So
He's a pro player, guys.
you never know if I'm going to be in a tournament, if the stream's going to be live. I usually tweet it out. So yeah,
Mm.
check me out there.
Yeah, and that'll be all. Thank you for watching.
Thank you guys so much.